Okay, wonderful. So I am so delighted to be bringing in Sabine van Baaren for a live interview today. And we were just having a little bit of a chat before now and, just commenting on about how it brings an extra edge when you are doing something live. There's no like editing out and, making things perfect later. You are just going to get the real deal here. So we have a small group that are joining us here in the Zoom room, sort of as our studio audience. And we are also live streaming this onto Facebook. So this is a way for us to bring Sabine's light out into the world. And I'm just going to make this live stream on Facebook a little smaller so that it is not distracting me. So I would like to warmly welcome everybody who is tuning in, and just to let you know, you are in for a real treat with what we are going to be going into today. And I would like to extend the warmest welcome and the deepest gratitude to you, Sabine, for you coming and joining us and allowing me to interview you and to share who you are, what you're doing, your incredible light with my community. So thank you so much for joining me today, Sabine.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. It's such a joy and such an honor to be part of your group here and to share a moment with you all outside there. Wonderful. Thank you.
Wonderful. And so you are tuning in from Germany today, correct?
Yes, I live in Germany. That's correct. Yeah.
Right. So I would like to begin by saying a few words just to introduce Sabine. And again, just to illuminate your beautiful name, Sabine van Baaren is joining us today. So she has a very interesting story, and I will just share a few highlights just to help you to touch in with who this amazing woman is. She was raised in the Netherlands, and she comes from a family of music. She is the daughter of a music producer. She began her professional singing career at the age of 8, when she started singing with renowned Dutch artists. She has performed in countless concerts and appeared at festivals such as the North Sea and Montreux Jazz Festivals. She has recorded a number of her own songs, and she has also recorded 3 albums with pianist film composer Mark Jogerst. And the names of the albums are so beautiful. I would just like to share them and illuminate them as well. The first is Remember Who You Are. The second is Mother Earth and Visions. And the third is Dreams. Her latest album is titled Ameha Chants, and it's an offering of mantras and prayers with which to sing along. So if you get a chance to check that out, I do encourage you. So this is getting into the music side, but Sabine has also studied to develop her spiritual skills, working with a variety of teachers. And this has led her to the unique healing work that she has been doing for over 2 decades. She sings in light language for both individuals and groups. And from her bio, I wanted to take this particular snippet that with her voice, songs, sound healings, and videos, Sabine van Baaren serves her intention to heal and support the evolution of consciousness, bringing inner peace, wisdom, and joy to listeners worldwide. So we have someone who is very gifted, very special. I see you as an angel, and I am so grateful for you joining us again today.
Oh, thank you so much. How wonderful. Yes, well, it's such a fascinating path I've been through to come to where I am now, and I'm really, really very, very happy to do this and to have these skills. And I love to serve people so that they find out their skills as well, their very special skill.
I love that. So I have prepared some interview questions, but I don't like to get, captured within a template or something like that. I really would like my questions to simply support the illuminating of who you are and your work in the world. And so if at any time you're wanting to go off track or wanting to, go somewhere else, I want you to really feel free to do that. I would just like to set this intention that our coming together today is going to bring in maximum light today to the people who this video will touch. So does that sound good for you?
It sounds beautiful. Very nice, yes.
All right. So as we begin to, dip into understanding, this, the inspiration that you can share with us, could you share a bit about what was your early relationship to music and singing? Like, what was that like for you?
I always had a very deep connection to music and to singing. When I was a little girl, I was listening to music very much, and I was very choosing the right music that would really touch me. I was already touched in a very young age by particular music, and I would really get goosebumps and feel, and I would go to the radio and ask, who is this? Who is this singer? Because, like, for instance, with Stevie Wonder, who was one of my huge influencers as a little girl. And music was such a strong impact on me that when I would listen to something which also had a very good particular groove, I would start to dance, and I really was in trance. I wasn't aware anymore about what was going on in my room. So I was really a little girl dancing on this music. And my family often came and surrounded me and were looking while I was doing this. And I was also always improvising on everything. So every melody I heard, every finished record I heard, I was listening to it and I would change the melody. I would try out and sing on top. And it would be such a joy for me to do this. And this is a skill that was very important for me for what I do now, because it's very important to allow what wants to come. And the freer you can be with your voice, of course, the freer you can bring what wants to be sang. So it's so funny to see how life leads you finally to something which is coming already in a young age, but I didn't know at that time. In fact, I never wanted to be a singer. I didn't know I wanted to be a dancer. But yes, for me, it was something very deep, I would almost say sacred. It was a very, very special listening to music, and yeah, it's a gift. It's something that goes straight to the heart.
It really is. I love how you are living that gift. I love how you're nourished by it and also living it. So I was going to ask you, how did your gift show up in early life? And I feel like you have actually answered that. Is there anything else that you would like to say about how you saw signs of your gift showing up in early life?
Well, I see it as two gifts. I see it as one gift as a singer. And the other gift is, as you mentioned, where I work as a healer with my voice, which for me they are together, but they are separate. There are two different gifts that merge. But in the early age, I was already I had the gift of music. I just knew I was singing in tune. I knew the rhythm. I was already very, well, probably because of my family, or maybe I came with it from another life. One never knows. But there was already a very natural way with being a singer and singing just as it would just come. And I was getting piano lessons. And there, for instance, my teacher would play me something and I would already know it. It was already everything in my head. So for me, it was difficult to remember the notes or learn to read notes because I had it in my head and I was just playing it already as a little girl. So, which is also a gift that served me for my career as a singer, especially in studio jobs. But it was not so much a gift if you have to really want to become good as a piano player, because there you really have to read. You cannot play a difficult Bach thing if you can't read really quick. So, but there again, I was looking at the good side of it. It brought me a beautiful present to be such a good reminder of melodies and really knowing all the lines I had to do for the choir work I was doing. And my father probably picked it up because, as you said, I already as a little girl was invited for two very famous singers in Holland, in the Netherlands, and I had to sing already on these records, which in fact I don't remember how it was. I think for me as a girl it must have been terrifying, but the results were very good, and you still can hear it, by the way. If you want to know, I can put it somewhere to listen to this little girl. And already
Wow.
there, when you hear it, I hear this talent that was there. And there, I would like to say, it's not about being proud or being me, I'm special. I think we all have that. We all have a very special talent that we're coming with, and it's beautiful to just be happy with it and to say, wow, this is my gift. And so that's my gift.
Wow. I really see you as a wonderful example of how we can talk about our gifts, that it doesn't have to be about ego. So
Right.
I appreciate the way that you talk about your gifts. So you just said, you're imagining that maybe as this young girl that you may have felt some fear. And I know that in your story, you have shared that you did experience stage fright within your earlier music career. So maybe, like I'm imagining even into like young adulthood. So I know that so many of us, we deal with fear in our lives. Some of us deal with it better than others, and it can be so limiting. So I would like to invite you to share about your experience of stage fright and how you moved out of that.
Yes, well, it's true that there was a lot of fear. Partly because when I came to Germany, I never had the phase, as a lot of musicians, colleagues of me had, that they were just trying out with bands at home and they were allowed to make mistakes and everything. I came immediately into the professional realm, so I had to function, I had to be good, I had to serve. So there was quite amount of pressure on me, which I made myself, of course. And I remember my first concert was when my sister brought me to Germany. She asked me to sing choir on a concert for 800 people, and it was the first time I was on stage. And it was 2 days before the concert, and I didn't know the music. I had to learn it by heart in 2 days. And I know I went on stage and I didn't look at the audience. I was standing with my back to the audience, and I was taking my mic, and every time when I was singing, I was turning to the audience, blah, 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 and then I would turn again, like, well, I'm not there, don't look at me. But funny enough, because my talent was very strong, people loved me and they invited me for all kind of work, especially my sister who introduced me a lot. So I sort of came into this, and it all worked fine and it fit well, and my talent brought me into a lot of acceptance, a lot of work. But there was always this little, how am I? Am I okay? And I was never really feeling, wow, here I am, And at some point, I really felt it's so strange. I have this incredible talent, but I can't really serve as free as I wish it to do. So I said, this was around my 40s, and I was already on tour with many people, and I've done records and everything, but no solo records. And a very dear friend of mine offered me a channeling to America to talk to somebody on the phone who was doing channeling work. By the way, she's quite famous. She's channeling Theo. And she was at that time with this The Secret and everything. She was also part of that group, but it's longer ago, and I met her on the phone and I told her, look, I have a problem. I have this incredible talent, but I'm so scared. I just don't feel good with it, so I want to stop. And in fact, funny enough, first of all, it was very interesting. Her voice changed into a man. She had a total different voice. She was really transmitting something else from another world. And then this voice said to me, please go on. You will find out one day. But this voice didn't say what I had to do. It just gave me this information. And it sort of touched me, and it felt like, well, I can't say. It was just like, okay, I go on. So I started a vocal group. And at the same time, I was getting healing lessons from a Russian healer. and starting laying on of hands. This is how you say it in English, right? And I started this vocal group, and this is where I started to do more solo singing. And then I learned, of course, because of the healer work I did, about praying and preparing and being a channel and everything. So I said, why don't I pray before I go on stage? I'm not religious. I'm not raised in any religion. So for me, this was new, like to decide to pray to some spiritual somewhere, So I decided I go to the toilet before I go on stage. I go to the mirror and I just ask for guidance and I ask for support. And I also asked that I may give what is important for the audience while singing. And funny enough, this is where the change started. Like people would come to me and say, hey, something happens when you sing. I'm whatever, headache goes, and I was like, okay, what's going on here? And I really started to love to be on stage and to sing my own work and my own songs and my own words and having my own project. And yes, at the same time, I was working as a healer. I was laying on of hands with people who were in trouble, who needed support. And then after a few years, I'm going to go back. I sort of thought, well, I made a big step with this working and with the group and everything, and we went on tour a lot. So a lot of the fear left. I wouldn't say it is all gone. It is probably never gone completely. There's, I think, no artist who doesn't have stage fear, because it's part of it. And we do an interview, as soon as it is live, it's like, oops, because you never know. It's out of the moment. You can't repair it. You can't control it. You don't know how you feel. So there's always this little bit of fear, which is natural.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, it also led me to what I'm doing now, which is this fear. One thing I did to overcome my fear as well is that I have a friend who was organizing concerts, which is called Room for Peace in Cologne, and she was always inviting guests. And she was a great support, and she wrote a lot of my lyrics and supported me in my lyrics. And she was always asking, when are you going to do a gig? When are you going to? And I said, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. And then at one point, I sort of said, I have to do this. I have to go over this, and I have to know if it works or not. I can only find out if I do it. So I decided, I called her, I said, look, your next gig, I'm in, I'm your guest. And she was like, wow, really? I said, yes. So she posted it in all the magazines in Cologne and everything. It's a huge gig. It's a very nice hall. And I only had 2 months to prepare, to be ready for my solo show for an hour. So I really had to go for it, choose the songs, the lyrics and everything, and work on my program. Yeah, so the big day, the big D day, and I went on stage and I sat there and I started to sing and talk, and I felt so at home. I said, yes, of course, this is mine. I love it. So that was another breakthrough for me, to just force myself to have to go through and to decide, check it out. If you don't make that date, you'll never check it out. You will always be, oop. So if anyone is listening, is looking for something you don't dare to do, I can only hardly recommend you go for it. Challenge yourself.
I love that. There are so many lessons in your story that any of us could take when we're afraid to do something that we've never done before. Like, I'm deeply touched by, when you were younger and your sister asked you 2 days before to perform in that concert, and you were so afraid that you had to turn your back to the audience and just look over your shoulder to sing to them. I mean, that is such courage. I mean, for other people, it would just be all or nothing. I just can't go out there, or they would go out and face the audience and just be petrified and maybe not be able to sing. But you were so creative in finding a way to some way be able to work through that fear to be able to show up. I mean, it's incredible. And also, when you had come to that breaking point where you were going to just quit everything, like the universe brought you this opportunity to speak with the channeled Theo, and you received encouragement that you believed, and it is what enabled you to keep going. Even if you didn't know how to keep going, you kept going. And it sounds like from how you just shared your story, you opened up to shifting into some other things, and that was an important part of the keeping going, including the studying with the healer from Russia. And so I'm also very moved by the transition of moving into praying before you would perform. That sounds really huge. And it's like, for me, it's like shifting out of that 3D conventional way of doing things. I just need to practice my music and go out, practice good, vocal technique and perform. And you just moved it into a whole other dimension by doing these prayers before you went out and wanting to be a channel and bringing what people need. And, how wonderful that you actually got confirmation, because people started coming up to you and saying, your voice, your singing, it was bringing me what I was really needing. Like, it was bringing that transformation and healing to people. So that's another beautiful thing. I mean, when we're really afraid to do something, all of us could, decide, hey, I'm going to do this from a different place. I'm going to pray, and I'm going to become a channel for love or peace or light. And I'm going to do this and bringing that through. And it's a bit of like letting go in order to be able to do that. And that is simply beautiful that all of us could do when we are afraid to do something. And yeah, I'll just bring one more highlight. I love how you have allowed yourself to be in connection with people around you who kind of, are trying to push your edge forward. I mean, it's important for us to have our circle, not just trying to say, oh, make sure you're always comfortable. It's important for us to have people in our circle that are saying, hey, when are you going to be ready to do a gig? And, and it's so wonderful that you finally just, you listen to that internal call of, I think I need to just make myself do this. And when you did that, you were able to have a whole new experience of actually feeling comfortable. You acknowledge that there's always that bit of fear. There's that edge of fear. Even in this moment, as we're doing a live interview, there's always that edge of fear, but we can use that edge of fear to bring even more life into the situation. And that's what I'm hearing that you did. So your story is rich with, tips, ideas, of mastering fear so that we can really become who we are and bring our gifts into this world. So I really, that I just wanted to highlight that.
Fantastic. You're so clear. You're so putting it to wonderful how you take out the points and bring it into the space. Great.
I try.
No, you do.
Well, we all have our different gifts and talents.
Yes, well, that's definitely one of yours.
So I have just been having to hold myself back from asking you more about light language. I just see this as such an amazing skill, amazing gift. I mean, every time I hear the term light language, like I just go into the space of awe, but I really don't know a lot about it. So I know that some people, well, probably many people in my community, they may not know a lot about light language either, and this may even be their first time hearing about it. So would you explain to us what light language is?
Okay, well, it was part of my path to discover it. It was not something I came as a young child. I didn't know that it even exists. At some point in my career of a singer and career of a healer, I had the feeling that this is so magical that something comes through your hands, which is, I mean, there is nothing coming through, but there is something coming through. So this was for me so fascinating. And I thought, I am a singer. Wouldn't it be possible that the vibration that I'm bringing through, normally through my hands, wouldn't it be possible to bring it through with the speech and with my voice and with the singing? And I thought it was a very interesting topic to find out. And actually, it happened that I met another woman who was very important in my life. who suggested she wants to work with groups. And I said, well, you know what? I would love to do that with the singing. So she supported me in trying to find out if what comes through me as vibration would be possible to transmit with my voice. And this was quite a birth because again, there I had to let go of a lot of structures, and it has to be in tune, it has to be blah, blah, it has to be so, and to really go into, okay, I open up to what wants to come. And of course, not everything, because there's a lot we don't want to give forth, but we're talking about really beautiful, healing, supportive vibrations in a sacred space, in a how do you say, in a protected space, right? So we prepared a space to open up, and it took a little while, and then at one point something came out of me, and it was like, I remember my mouth, it was like, shall I, yes, and it came. And it was, well, I really loved it. It was such a beautiful language. I don't understand a word, or maybe just a few words that very often come back, but I don't understand what it means, or not till now. This can also change, but till now I haven't understood it. But it was like my home. I felt like coming home. It was so beautiful. It was a language that was so, wow, it was so light, so full of love, so special. And it really feels like, hey, this is my home. This is where I come from. This is what I want to bring into the world. So from that moment, I decided I really want to do this. Even if people think I'm crazy, I don't care. I'm going to go for this. And people will come for whom it is good. And this is, and we're talking about 23 years ago. I started in 2000 to do this. And I went through a lot with this. I mean, I went through different light languages that came through, depending on who was there, what they were carrying. Was it an illness, or was it something else? Depending on what they were challenging, the languages were different, the energies were different. And I was also moving a lot. It was very interesting, as if I was, I would like move like this or really like that, or depending on who I was serving. And this all went away, and it got smoother and smoother, and it sort of turned out into, I would say, 2 or 3 languages that I transmit, that are still very, very like the first one I received, but also 2, 3 other ones I would call maybe native a little bit. They sound a little bit native. Sometimes there are words I hear a word from a tribe, like Inca or Maya, or I don't know. And for me, the people who listened to it, who were part of my groups, or who came to visit me, or maybe can see or know what I'm doing, they told me that I'm really channeling light languages from other realms, from other cultures, and like maybe Pleiadian Lemuria. I feel very connected to Lemuria as a young person already. Also, like as if there were from every tribe, the head of a tribe transmitting something important to those who are listening. So it's a very complex topic, light language. There are many languages, and I think I've found out that those for whom my languages are important, they are sort of called to come to me. They feel they want to listen to this, and then it opens up something in them which is very important to them. And it's like maybe a universal language, and maybe it reminds us of that we are multidimensional beings. We're so much more than what we're seeing and what we're living here. And so maybe all these languages is like I tap into this multidimensionality that I have. And if we do it together, if I would do it for you, some connection would find place, which I don't do mentally. It just happens, it's just I open, you allow, and something will come into the space, which is important for the listener and the receiver. So it always comes out of the moment. It's never the same. I never say the same thing or sing the same, because I mostly sing as well. And it's really, for the person, for their evolution, for their, it vibrates, it resonates there where you need it. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I again feel like highlighting something that can be so useful for all of us. Like I'm understanding that you came into this life even as a young girl, having to be, perfect and having to follow structures. And it's so incredible for you to come in such a tightly structured way, and to like your human development happened during this time of incredible pressures that most young people wouldn't have. So I just want to highlight the structured way that you came into this life, and how incredible it is that you have been able to step through your fears of letting go of that structure, and to open to freedom, and to open to this light language and vibration. Because if we're tight, like if we're too tight, we can't feel vibration. And somehow you have been able to open into that right tightness. Like it's not loose. I'm thinking of like a drum skin. It has to be the right tightness to produce a really good sound. And it is incredible that you have been able to relax enough into being a multi-dimensional being who is able to bring in, to experience the vibration of the person who has come to you for healing, and also this greater vibration of like this universal love that's able to come through you and to bring that healing. So I really feel that anybody that gets to be in your presence, which means all of us here, including those who watch the recording, it's a great gift to feel your energy, to see how you speak, and really to get an experience of someone who has been able to move out of that structured way of being into a place of freedom, where you are able to tune into these vibrations and be able to bring love and bring light into this world. So just to highlight the gift of us getting to connect with you right now. And I encourage everyone to open to everything that you need from just this experience of Sabine today.
Thank you. Thank you. I remember it came up while I was talking a little earlier. I was on tour with a very famous singer. I was singing choir. And I remember I was standing there and I thought, this is not what I'm here for. And this was so strong. And I would like also there to encourage everybody, if they feel that there is something that wants to come out of in their life. Because I had that very strongly. It was really a calling. And I think maybe every once in a while in our life, we get that calling that really tells us, something wants to live in me, but I just don't know what. Then go for it. Search for it. Open yourself for experiments and things that you maybe would love to do, and just step out of the box, as they say. And because then really magic can happen.
Beautiful. Well, I would like to open things up a little bit more to, not sure what's going to come in, which can be exciting. So I'd first like to just check in with our studio audience here in the Zoom room, and see if you would like to ask a question of Sabine. Any questions from our Zoom room, and at the same time, I will also check our Facebook Live and see if anyone's been posting any questions there. If I can figure out how to do that. Right, I do not seem to be completely technically savvy. This is my first time of checking for questions.
Well, Nitsan says no questions, thank you.
Okay,
Hi,
thank
Nitsan.
you. Okay, so I'm just looking on the Facebook Live, and Cynthia is one of the people with us, and she says, "Go for it, challenge yourself." She's quoted you. So, and she's attributed to Sabine van Baaren. So you're being quoted. by our guests. So I'll just check to see if anybody in the Facebook Live has any questions. Just give another moment to see. And maybe while we're just taking a pause to check in about that, Sabine, people are going to be touched by your story today, your presence today, and I'm sure they're going to be intrigued about your gifts. And I'm just wondering if people would like to connect with you and experience what it is, like maybe experience some of your light language singing. What opportunities do you offer for people to be able to experience more of you?
Well, of course, I do one-to-one sessions with people. They can get in contact through my website or through Facebook and give me a call, and we can agree on a moment where they have time, where we both have time. If they live abroad, we can do it via Zoom.
Okay,
And
good to know.
yes, absolutely no problem. I've many people thought, oh, it doesn't work through Zoom and internet. Well, it's not true. During the C phase, where we were not allowed to sing because it was not good, I did every week. I did a Zoom, and I did it for a group of people, and I was singing, and it worked fantastic. People were speaking about the vibrations in their room changing and everything. So there's not such a thing of distance. Yes, I welcome you to write me, to send me a mail, and let's find a date where we can do something together. I would then find out where you are, where you stand, where I can support you, either with you getting a sound healing, or if you would like to learn it yourself, or if you want to work on your voice. I mean, I have different projects where I can support you. Very, very welcome.
That is
Yeah.
beautiful. Now, I have also gone to your website and I see that you offer a lot of recordings where people can experience recordings of your singing, of your light language. And also, do you still offer those public events that you were offering before?
Yes, I do. I do them normally in German, so the introduction and everything happens in German. I do have a date on the 31st of August, for instance, online via Zoom, but I would really love to do it in English as well. So if there are people who say, I would love to be in a group, why don't we do something? I'm very happy to organize something on a date which is convenient for all of us, which is quite challenging because finding a right time who fits for everything. But if you're interested, let me know, and let me know what time is a good time, and I'll sort of set up something so we can meet together on a Zoom. Yeah.
That is an amazing, amazing offer, and it really speaks to your willingness to engage and to have conversations with people, and just to find really good ways of bringing through this beautifully channeled light language to people. So I love that, and I think that there's probably a lot to be gained from people who only speak English to even come to one of your German events as well. So I will be sure to post your website into, I'll see if I'm able to change the description of the Facebook Live. In the past, I haven't been able. I may just post it in the comments below the Facebook Live so that people are able to access your website. And also, I'd just like to say, and I know I said this to you before, your website is beautiful.
Thank you.
Did you say that it was your sister?
No, it's my niece. It's the
Your
daughter
niece?
of my sister who did it.
Yeah, it's a very different website that's actually a wonderful experience just to even go through. So I do highly encourage people to check out Sabine's website. And let me just check one more time on the Facebook Live, see if there are any questions that have appeared. And I see there's another comment that's appeared from Grain, who's actually in New Brunswick, so in the province I'm in, saying a beautiful conversation and a couple of nice emojis. So
thank you.
people have, I knew that people would enjoy us coming together, having this conversation, and me having this opportunity to share you with my world. So Sabine, I'll just ask you, are there any last words that you would like to leave our audience with today?
Maybe I would like to remind you how wonderful you are. And even if the times are very, very challenging, I believe in that we're going to have a great future. And that if we all trust in the universe and the knowing of the universe and our inner knowing and the love we are and our connection, to build on that and to thrive for something beautiful that is coming, and to try to not focus on the fear, but to focus on your gifts and to focus on the beauty that is in you and that wants to be seen and be loved and be acknowledged and bring it into the world. Yeah.
I think that actually crystallizes the essence of your own journey. So you are a living example of how that is possible and creates the miracles that I think we need in order to move through the challenges and to really open up to our gifts. So again, Sabine, thank you so much for coming and sharing your beautiful self, your beautiful smile, and your beautiful gifts with us
Thank
here
you.
today. And I will look forward to being in touch with you very soon.
Oh, thank you so much. It was such a wonderful having the possibility to meet you here and to have a talk and to share about my life. Thank you very, very much. I thank everybody who was listening. And yeah,
Beautiful.
what shall I say? Meet you soon.
Sounds perfect. A warm welcome from Sabine. And we will warmly say goodbye for now. And we look forward to being in touch with everyone soon. So,
Great.
bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.